If you want to come into the skilled trades, don't. Now hear me out. Hey everybody, my name is Will and I'm owner of Energize Us, an electrical contracting company in the New England area of the United States. I'm also CEO and founder of a non-for-profit trade school, Energize Us EDU, where we want to bring awareness back towards the skilled trades. So why did I say if you want to come into the skilled trades, don't? Well, hear me out. I truly believe if you are coming into the skilled trades because your friends, your family, some coworkers are telling you, hey, jump in, it's going to be a good job. Well, they're setting you up for failure. How so? I want you to be able to take a dive into the industry so you know all the ups, downs, the good, bad, and ugly about the skilled trades. Because if you come in blindly, just thinking, hey, it's another job, hey, I'm going to get some good money after a few years, you are set up for failure. So what can we do about that? Well, I just want to start off by talking about my story on how I came into the skilled trades, what we're planning to do with our company, as well as how we're trying to scale and multiply Energize Us EDU so we can give you the tools that you need to become a successful skilled trades professional. So I myself, Will, I'm from Queens, New York, where I grew up, and that's where I also went to my vocational high school. One thing what I really appreciate about that time was in high school, in Queens specifically, you had to apply for which school you wanted to go to. And just like any other teenager, I was just looking to go to the school where all my friends were going. That was called your zone school. Some of my buddies, they applied for tests, Ivy League schools, very well-renowned schools out in New York City, but for specific trades, for example, like arts and designs, Hunter, very science-specific schools. I myself wasn't that caliber of person. I myself was just going to high school, just wherever my friends were going. Yet, I had a good grasp, a good sense of people around in my life who looked out for me, for my best interest. And that was very interesting because I had individuals who said, hey, where are you going to high school? And I said, I'm just going to go to my normal zone school. And they said, don't do that. We want you to go to this vocational high school. Not only can you go to high school, but then you can also learn a trade, get a job, and then you can start making money while everyone else is in college, right off the bat. And of course, at the beginning, that didn't interest me. So what did we do? They took my application, ripped it up, and they filled it out for me. Next thing you know, I got enrolled into Thomas A. Edison High School, where I was studying electrical installation, and that's where my electrical journey began. During the summers, I would now apply what I learned. So once again, I had a lot of buddies of mine who had their own companies or they did work on the side, and they called me to help them and assist them. That's where I got the exposure, working with my hands. So now when I went back to school in September, things started to make sense. Things started to click, not only for the textbook, not only in shop, but now real world application. And I felt like that's what set me apart. That's what helped me grow. And that's what helped make everything start making sense. When I say, if you're coming into the skilled trades just because someone told you so, and you don't do anything else to learn about the industry, see what you like, or start working with your hands, guess what? The traditional construction path, the company culture, the construction culture, it's going to rip you alive. The old knuckle buster ways, a lot of people still hold true to it. That's also what I want to touch back on later on when it comes to how we can do better as current professionals. But back in the day, it's the old knuckle buster way. You had to get in the dirt, you had to work, you had to prove yourself. It was always be seen, not heard. Do your time, get the respect of the older ones, and then maybe they'll take care of you. But what I appreciate about the trades is you get in, you learn. If you're hungry for it, you're going to do very, very well. I tell everybody, not just in business, but especially when it comes to the skilled trades, especially when it comes to electrical, which we all know is dangerous. If you go into the trades and you give it your all, that's what you will get in return. You directly get what you put into it. Once again, you get out of the trades exactly what you put into it. So I want you to keep that in mind. There is so much that we can learn from the trades. There's so much the opportunities that we can get from the trades, but it all requires your effort. So what happened in the 4 years of high school, not only did I get to learn the theory portion, Not only did we have shop class where we got to work in a controlled environment, but then I also had friends and family who let me work on their projects after school, after hours, or in their companies. What happened? I was getting ready to graduate in my senior year, and I finished school 2 months earlier where I got to go straight to work. So now I'm not even 18 at the time, and I'm already working while everyone's getting their acceptance letters to college. So fast forward 4 years, boom, high school's done. I have my certification now for schooling. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the Northeast of America, mostly in Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts especially, is very difficult. They have licensing requirements. So to become licensed, you need to have your schooling portion as well as your on-the-job training hours, your OJT hours. So what happened? I now have my schooling requirements for my licensure. Now I just have to work 4 years, 7,000 hours, some states 8,000 hours, before I can go for my electrical license. So that's where my story began. I now jumped into the workforce. I worked for a few companies over the years, learning different facets of the electrical, some commercial, some industrial, some residential. And then once I met my required hours, I applied to the state of Connecticut, where I became a journeyman at the age of 24, and then waited 2 years before I went into my master's license, took the exam, and got my master's license at 26 years old. That is long story short. But the reality is this generation that's coming in can't look at a scenario more than the month right in front of them, especially with so much going on social media. There's so many quick ways to get money. Hey, do this, do that. Drop shipping. Hey, go post on, your favorite website or whatever, get some revenue that way. Hey, go TikTok, ads, be an influencer. There's so many different facets where you can become successful in today's world without having to lift a hammer, without having to do any grunt work. But guess what? The reality is, especially when it comes to the skilled trades, you have to work. You have to work, you have to get dirty, and guess what? Once again, all the rewards that come from the efforts that you put in. But the sad reality is that's going to take 3, 4, 5 years before you see any of the fruits of those labor. The first 2 years of you being an electrical apprentice or an apprentice in any trade, it's going to be tough. That's the reality. And that's where I have a problem with the current generation. So many people want to say, hey, join a trade, skip college, pick a trade. Hey, come into the skilled trades. We have many, many influential people who say, quit school, quit college, pick a trade. Just go into the skilled trades. Yet they don't talk about or they don't prepare you for what's to come. And that can be very discouraging. That can be very uncomfortable for someone out of nowhere, already doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, looks up to someone, jumps in, and it's like, what the heck is this? Even on social media right now, we see many people saying, hey, they've been in the trades 1, 2, 3 years, and they're losing their minds. Why? They weren't mentally prepared for what the trades have to offer. So here at Energize Us, we want to make sure that you know those first 2 years are going to suck. Do not come into the skilled trades without doing your background. Why do we say that? We want you to be able to see the full extent of what the trades have to offer, but that's going to require you to do your research. So if someone comes to me and say, should I get into the skilled trades? No, it's not for you. It's not for me. It's not for him. Everyone to each their own. You have to do your research, see if that's what you're willing to do, and guess what? And if it is, I'll see you on the job site. If you thought this was interesting, please go check out my other videos. I'm going to put them up here where you can get to meet the most influential tradespeople, hear their stories, what got them into the trades, and also how can we imitate them and how they became the men that they are today. Thank you, everybody.